Your first live here. Peace, brother. I'm glad you made it in. We're going to get started in 1 second. 1 second. We will get started. All right. Let me just find some links real quick and let's do it. All right, here we go. How y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? I just had to get these links for you because I want you to have them. Register for Thursday's class. We're back. It's been a while since we've done a masterclass, but we're back this Thursday. Register for Thursday's class. All right. We're back this Thursday with a masterclass, right? We were doing our 3-day challenges. We're not doing the 3-day challenge this month. We'll be back next month with a 3-day challenge. 3-day challenges are very encouraging. 3-day challenges are very informative because you get a chance to spend more time with us. Really, it's like a 5-day week with us, right? Monday through Friday. And you get to pick our brain. You get to see everything that we have going on behind the scenes. But however, these 1-day webinars are just as informative. We pour a lot into these webinars. We do our best to put all the information in front of you so you can be informed to make a decision on about how you want to proceed, about does land investing make sense to you and things of that nature. It is 2026. Since we've came on the scene, our sole mission has been just to bring awareness about this industry called the land space. That's been our sole mission, right? We've been doing an excellent job. In fact, we just came back from LA. We went out to LA to speak on a radio station about what? About land investing, right? When we say that this is a serious mission, this is a serious mission. How serious is it? We didn't get paid to go and speak about land investing. That's money out of our pocket. We had to book flight, we had to book car, we had to book hotels, and all of those things because that's how dedicated it would be best that we make ourselves present and go and speak about land investing. So many of us can be aware about. You can't hit a target that you're unaware of. All right. You can't hit a target that you're unaware. So this Thursday, right? If you're on Facebook or YouTube, I'm going to drop a link. There's the link in the comments. Click onto that link and get yourself registered to make sure that you're in the room on Thursday. If you're on Instagram, it should be a link on your screen to click. If there is no link on your screen to click, comment the word learn, and that will fire off a link that will be sent to your DM for you to register for the webinar. What will we be going over on that webinar? We'll be going over the full gamut of what we teach. We primarily teach two things. First, let's rewind. Let me give half of the Acre Boys. Likely throw that word around. It means that what we teach is what we do. That means that we're in the field with you. We're in the game with you, right? We're currently buying deals. We're currently still combing through tax sale lists ourselves, right? I just got off a tax sale list, 49 pages of properties. When I see 49 pages, right, that says to me it's a lot of opportunity. And without you knowing much about this industry, 49 pages of anything. Do you think everything is bad on there? Answer would be absolutely not. Some deals on there. I combed through. Clearly, I didn't get through 49 pages, but I got through a lot of pages. And I probably combed through a list faster than a new person. In fact, I know I combed through a list faster than a new person would comb through it. So I made quite the dent inside of the list. 9 years ago, we stumbled across this industry because we were looking to add some alternative income to our 9 to 5 jobs. And we stumbled into someone that said, I can teach you about the world of tax deed investing. Prior to meeting this person, I had never heard of what tax deed investing was. I didn't know it was even a thing, right? You can't hit a target that you're unaware of. I didn't know it existed. So they taught us about this space. Then when we came into this space, we quickly realized that these practices have been going on for a long time, way before we existed, way before we knew about it, way before we came into contact with it, right? We quickly learned the ropes, right? Through mentorship, because I didn't know what I was doing. Like many of you that sit on the other side of this message, coming into it, you may not know that you don't know. But the best thing you can do is accept that. Accept that I don't know, but I'm willing to learn. And you're never too old to learn new things, right? So we opted into a mentorship. They taught us the ropes. We took the information. We applied the information. We found out that the information that they provided, that it worked. We got what we call POC, proof of concept. Once we got that proof of concept, we never put it down. We kept going. We kept adding on to our mental, to our knowledge about the space. And 1 year turned to 2, 2 years turned to 4, 4 turned to 6. And voila, here we are these days in a teaching capacity. We never wanted to be teachers, right? It was suggested that we start teaching this information. This was before we even had the name Acre Boys. The name Acre Boys came into play when we started doing larger deals. Tax deed investing, we call that entry-level investing because it's the only place that I've seen that you can get in where your budget allows you to get in at. When we came in, we were buying properties for $50. And I had 2 people. It was 2 of us, me and my partner. So even at $50, I was only responsible for $25. He was responsible for $25. And we were working our 9 to 5 jobs. That was our investor. So anybody should be able to spare $50 to go out and buy a piece of land that can 50x, sometimes 100x your money. Right? When we were finding those deals, right? That's why when opportunity knocks, you have to answer the call because those deals are not around anymore. We did those deals for about 2.5, 3 years. Yeah. You know, when you're inside of a thing, you don't think that it's going to end when you're inside of a thing. Because in hindsight, me and my partner always say to each other, we bought a lot, but we always say we should have bought them all. If there were, I don't know, 5,000. But we did really well. That gave us a whole lot of confidence to go out and buy more. And when we were buying those deals, we were buying smaller lots, and those are called infill lots. Infill lots are usually found in city areas, suburban areas, and things like that, amongst other residential homes. That's what infill lots. They're usually under an acre. These particular lots was usually typically under a quarter of an acre. So after buying so many of them, and we've done well, right? We made a couple of $100,000 just off of buying from the tax sale auction in the beginning. We quickly saw that if we could put a plan in place and stick to that plan, and I'll give you what we've done, is stick to that plan, that income could replace our 9 to 5 earnings. Both of us was making 6 figures on our jobs at the time, but it was a very hard 6 figures for me, right? I was a union stagehand worker. Primarily, you only get paid when you show up. So that means that I constantly had to show up. In the summer times, that's when the most shows go on. We set up shows, we set up concerts. I was one of the main guys. So in the summer times, I had no summer. Some days I was working 13, 14 days in a row. If there was a show, I was there, because if you're not there, you don't get paid. Right? So I had no summers, had no vacation time in the summers on things like that. I did make over six figures, but as I stated, it was rough. It was a tough 6 figures. It's a blue collar job. So when I found out that I can make 6 figures from investing from and behind a computer, I was psyched. I wanted to know more. How do I lean into this? How do I multiply this? That's how I think. That's how, when I'm involved in something, I like to fully exploit what I'm into. I want to be the best at the thing that I'm doing. That's just my personality. I typically don't get involved in things that I don't feel that I can thrive in. That's just me, right? So this concept made total sense to me, because it's the same concept and same principles of all business. That's what we found. It's all the same. Business is all the same. Buy low, sell high. But how do you do that? Though they commonly throw that phrase out. Buy low, sell high. But how? Where? Where do you find these deals? How do you do these deals? Because if we all knew where to buy low at, then we all would be buying low. We all would be in business. Business would be open all year long. Right? I got money at my disposal right now. If anybody's on the other side of this message listening, bring me a deal. I love to buy it. I'll buy a house. I'll buy land. I have money to spend. But it has to be a deal. Don't bring me a deal I can't make money on. I'm very transparent. If I can't make money on it, don't bring it to me, because don't dump your problem off on me. See, when I say those things, people start sending me stuff, and then they want full asking price, which I don't blame you. I'm just saying that I'm not the guy. I'm coming from an investor standpoint. And I'm saying that if there's no meat on the bone, I'm not here. I can go on the general market myself and find deals. I don't need you to bring me something that I can do myself. All right, back to the story. So after buying so many of those infill lots, I said to myself, because now I'm in the business and I'm seeing other investors, and I'm seeing other investors with 20 acres, 40 acres, 100 acres. And I'm like, well, how do you do that? How do we get those deals? Those are the deals that attracted me at that time. Then we sought after more mentorship, and that opened this whole world of land investing up to us. That's another thing that we teach. Tax sale investing is cool. It's a good way to create an alternative stream of income. Can it be your main stream of income? Absolutely, right? Because tax sale investing, you can start wherever your budget allows you, $500 or $500,000. There are auctions that will sell you land in houses all the way up to $1 million. As you should know, each area is different. Which auction are you playing at, right? So yes, it could be your mainstream or your first source of income if you like, all through tax sale investing. And then when you really get good and understand the space, there's something that's called tax lien investing. We're not going to lean into tax liens because that's a whole nother conversation. But this world of land investing, waters do run deep. But for entry-level people, we say start where you are. If your budget is only $5,000, great. You have to opt into an auction that supports those finances, that will allow you to buy with that budget. They're out there. So we've done an excellent job of identifying those markets so everyday people can get started, can test the waters to see if this makes sense to them. Now, for those that may want to swing the bat a little harder, for those that may be a little deeper in their pockets with their budget, that want larger land and things like that, family compounds and things like that, Yes, there's a way that we still use to go after those properties, right? That's called going direct to owner. What does that mean? That means we go directly to landowners throughout the country at any given time. Now we bypass the auction, took all the power back from the auction because the auction tells us what to do, when to do it, how to do it, what to pay, when to pay, and what you can buy. When we go direct to owner, we have all of that flexibility. I state where I want to go out and look for land, what county. There's 3,200 counties throughout the country, plenty. Word of advice is you won't make it through 10 of those counties if you're having success. I've been playing, well, you may make it through more than 10 counties. You won't make it through 10 states if you're having success. That's just the God's honest truth. That's how abundant it is. So you won't have a problem once you situate yourself on an area with finding deals. I always pose the question, how does a realtor have a 30-year career in one state in a couple of counties? How's that possible? They don't move to another state. Properties go on the market, properties go off the market. Properties. Why am I blacking out? Am I blacking out? Can y'all hear me? Somebody drop it in the comments. Can you hear me and see me well? Talk to me in the comments. All right. So land follows the housing market. Housing market is booming, land market is booming, right? Sometimes that doesn't apply in rural markets because in rural markets, sometimes there is no housing market that's booming. Just the land market is booming. So it depends on where you're playing. If you're playing in spots that, like most of you probably are familiar with, then that applies. When the housing market is booming, and then if it's like a hot market where it's a lot of residential homes, a lot of times it's not going to be a lot of land available. That's what we come to find in your area right now, unless you're south, right? Or you're in an area to where it's just in abundance like that. But if you live in like an area where a bunch of subdivisions and city areas, you just don't regularly just find a plethora of land to pick and choose from. Now you could exploit it if you know how to exploit it. But when we start to play with rural markets, it's in abundance. And most of us think that the primary use of land is to put a house on it. That, for us, what we do as land flippers, our first income producing asset that we sell the most is recreational land, not land to build on. It's recreational land. So what most people are unaware of, there's a niche for everything. There's a huge niche for people that want just rural markets. There's a huge niche for people that just want off-grid land. There's a huge niche for people that don't want to be confined and restricted and deal with the laws and the bylaws of subdivisions and city limits and things like that. So that's why we say when it comes to land, as long as you can find a quality piece, whether it's infill lots with other residential homes or rural lots where there are no homes and it's just recreational land. If it's a quality piece, when I say quality piece, meaning that everything checks out, meaning that there's no wetlands, meaning that it has road frontage, meaning that it has good timber value and things of that nature. We've never seen it not sell. Primary two reasons why we find that land does not sell is one, something's wrong with the land. Could be wetlands, could be a buildable lot, whatever the reason is, or it's priced too high. Those are the only two reasons that we found that land sits on the market. Outside of that, this is why buying it right on the front end, getting it right on the front side of the deal will serve you better. We had students come into our ecosystem who went out on their own, and I'm not knocking that, but they bought the wrong thing. Then they come into our space and they say, "Hey, Ray, I bought this property. Can you help me get rid of it? I'm having a problem." Well, I may can't help at that point. My solution to that is not to create a problem. Avoid creating a problem. Get it right on the front end. That's the solution to that. I had a phone call today with a young lady, and she said, I asked her, she's been following us for a while, close to 2 years. And I said, "Well, why haven't you joined the program?" She said, "I don't know, I was thinking about it. I never got around to it." Well, I said, "Well, what's stopping you from moving forward or land investing?" She said, "I'm just not sure of what I'm looking at, and I don't want to buy the wrong thing." Understandable. No pressure. We don't pressure people to move forward with us, right? But that's what mentorship is for. Because now you wasted 2 years, and what could have you accomplished in 2 years? That's 24 months. So, time, right? I'm well aware of this. Our message is a mature message, meaning that you typically attract the type of energy that you put out there. And we're fully grown men these days with families. Like, we don't carry ourselves as young boys. We don't carry ourselves in an ignorant manner. We're stand-up guys. So we typically attract who you are, and we attract that audience. That audience, with that said, if you're anything like me or closely related to how I move, think, lifestyle, etc., we don't have time to lose, because I'm assuming that you have a family. I'm assuming that you have aspirations for yourself and for your family. I'm assuming that if you can add on to what you currently have going on to strengthen your family, to strengthen your finances, to secure things for the future, that's what it's all about. That's what I'm assuming. I could be wrong. But for me, that's the type of time that I'm on, right? I don't have any time to lose. I'm behind the eight ball. I just learned this 10 years ago, and I'm not in my 20s nor 30s. I'm just learning this. So we're behind the eight ball. So when I say when opportunity knocks, I don't know if you're not hearing the knock at the door. I don't know if it's important enough for you. I don't know if you see the value or hear the value in the knock. So this is why we constantly come on and we constantly speak about it with hopes that one day you hear it. You don't even have to be in my program. I just want you to go out. If you want to learn on your own, learn on your own, because it's there. I just told you I got off a 49-page list tax sale. It's opportunity. And I know that we could use an extra anything, extra 2,000, extra 3,000, extra 5,000. We could use an extra anything. This Thursday, comment the word learn. Comment the word learn. LEARN. Comment learn to join me this Thursday at this webinar. This Thursday, we'll be breaking this down in detail so you can see the full spectrum of what we're speaking of, so you can see the full spectrum of what it is, what we do, and what we teach. Come sit with us. Typically, these classes, hour and a half. Mark your calendar, set some time, come spend some time with the Acre Boys for hour and a half. We'll put all this information in front of you, let you see it, because the biggest thing that we could do for ourselves is make a decision, right? If we're not for you, that's fit, that's fine and fair. If we're for you, I would say move forward, get active, begin, have a first day. That's what I tell everybody. Have a first day. right? And you'll learn. You'll learn as you go, just as with anything. Nothing or nobody was good in the beginning of a new venture. But when we get a little up in age, I don't know what it is why we feel like learning something new is such a daunting task. It's okay. It may take a little time, but you'll get it. We didn't get it in the beginning right away. So you hearing me speak now as a person that's heading into their 10th year. I didn't speak it this fluid year one. Definitely not within the first 6 months. I didn't speak it this fluid year two. But you don't do something on a daily basis, you know, unconsciously you're learning when you're inside of something on a daily basis, as you are on your prospective places or whatever your profession are. I promise you that you're better on year 5 than day 1. Year 10 is a lot easier than year 5. But so many of us, we're afraid to have a day 1, yet alone a year 1. I had a young lady in the program. Oh, she was a complainer. I don't like complainers, and I almost wanted to give her money back. Whew. And she was everything that you put in front of her. Oh, this is so much work. Oh, how am I supposed to do this? Oh, I got to go to work and then I got to spend. Lady, what do you want? You want the work to work itself? Yes, people, you don't make money by doing nothing. It doesn't work that way. You have to do something. The list is not going to pull itself and review itself. The people are not going to call you and say, hey, Mr. Dear Sir or Madam, I want to sell you my land, without you making them an offer, without you making contact with them. It's not going to fall out the sky is what I'm saying. So she was a complainer and she was a complainer. And I personally held her hand. When I say personally, I did one-on-one calls with her because she just acted like she could not understand through the trainings that we was giving her. Set everything up for her. Even said, here, I want you to go here. This place will serve you best. And within about her 6 months, I guess she just had enough. She felt like she couldn't get a deal. People often ask, well, how long would it take for me before I land a deal? I don't know, because everybody's different. This lady, it took her 6 months. Some people get it in 2 months. How much work you putting in? How fast are you comprehending? I don't know how you learn. I don't know what's on your table. I don't know how much time you have to put into it. So I've seen a little bit of everything. I've seen people get it in 2 months. I've seen people in 6 months. I've seen people never. I've seen people pay us for a program and don't even open the program. We've seen a little bit of everything. So she opted out in 6 months after I showed her how to send out offers to a particular area. Fast forward, 3 months go by. Now she's in my inbox saying, I just want to thank you. I finally closed the deal. I made about $17,000. People are crazy, man. See, you wasn't willing to be bad long enough before you got good, is what I'm trying to say. See, all of the complaining, right? Just stick to the script. Stay down until you can come up. And then when you come up, put your head back down and go in some more, and then continue to work hard. That's all that I'm saying. Because if it has worked for the millions of other investors before us, right? It's been proven that this space works. This is not even what I think. History has shown that land investing works. You can't have a building. You can't have a house. You can't have a structure without having the land first. So this has been going on since the beginning of time. It is the first transaction under the umbrella of real estate. So I'm wholeheartedly convinced that it works. The question is, can you make it work? Do you have the fortitude to stay, to stick it out until it works? Or you're just poking it with a stick. because the Acre Boys made it sound cool. That's just the cold hard facts. You won't find two brothers that's more transparent. I just tell it how it is. I give as much as information that we can possibly give to get you to the finish line. Some get it, some don't. I used to be emotionally attached in the beginning. I used to, could I be a good teacher? Because I didn't want to be a teacher. So I was emotionally attached to the outcome of other people. Then I quickly learned that, well, they may not be putting the same effort in as I would put in. Because when I started doing this and I was working my 9 to 5 job and taking care of my children, I allocated time to comb through a list. Sometimes I fell asleep on lists until I knew it. When I started learning how to do bigger deals, I didn't know that in the beginning. Our largest deal was 260 acres. You don't go from buying tax deeds to 260 acres without knowing something. And definitely, you don't get $3.4 million without knowing something. That's how much that deal was, 3.4. So it takes input to get output. It takes time on the clock. It takes studying your craft. Even when what we're doing now. Now we're dealing with the general public and people. You don't have a successful program, which we have had a lot of people opt into the program. You don't have a successful program if you're not doing something right. I promise you, day one of me even teaching this is not the same as what you see now. There's no way to skip the line, is what I'm saying. You're either growing or you're dying. That's it. I don't want to trauma bond with people. I don't want to complain. I don't want to make excuses for myself or for you. I don't want to let people off the hook. Winners win. That's it. Winners do what it takes to win. They position themselves, they execute, they show up every day. Even when it doesn't work, they learn from the failures. They pick themselves up again. They keep going. They dust themselves off. That's the mentality. That's it. Now, once you change this, the mentality, the mental is cake at that point. Everything else is just buttons. That's it. Let me say that again. Once you change your mentality about it, everything else is at the push of a button. That's just the God honest truth. But you don't feel, or most people don't feel that they can do it. Business has no emotions. It's only you that put the emotions into it. Business says if I do A, I should get B, and B should equal C. This is very straightforward, is what I'm saying. If you go to a tax sale auction, you comb through a list, you check things out this way, it will either yield a yes or a no. There's no emotions attached to it. People don't do things because they don't feel like doing them. That's it. Now, they could put an excuse, but at the root of the excuse is you didn't feel like doing it. Or you didn't feel it was worth your time. All right, y'all. Comment the word learn. We could talk like this all day. By the way, this is kind of like what me and my circle talk about on a daily basis. We study people these days. We study people patterns, habits, because And the reason that we do is because culturally we have positioned ourselves to have a voice that represents culturally land investing, which is a huge part of Black culture, right? So, me trying to understand more about how we move, how we think, right? I'm studying people and things like that. I'm studying why we don't move forward. I'm studying why we don't have conversations about finances, why we don't have conversations about money on a daily basis, not sometimes, all the time. I'm studying how do we watch more TV than self-educate ourselves and things like that. At this age and stage, right? I'm studying how we're so far behind. She said, do coach minor subdivide rule market? I'm not understanding how you wrote it out. But comment, learn. We'll be breaking down everything on Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and my partner will be there, and we'll give all the information that we could for you to make a decision. And if you see the value, move forward as a land investor. We do our best to put you in the best position. We do the best to assist you. Let's say that. Because it's going to be you that's going to have to take lead and take charge of you. We will do our best to assist you. I can't do the work for you. I can't carry. We don't carry people. The work is the work. We've done an excellent job of packaging up the work for you to capitalize on the work. And we give assistance along the way. What does assistance look like is we train every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, meaning that we talk as a group, hour, 2 hours. You can pick our brain, ask questions, bring your deals. That's what that looks like. That's on a weekly basis, 52 weeks out of the year, right? You can ask questions during the week. So you're an individual investor, but you're not alone, is what I'm saying. All right. So last call, comment the word learn and check your inbox. Once you comment learn, check your inbox. A link will come to your inbox. Fill out the registration link, secure your spot, show up on Thursday, come spend some time with us, mark it on your calendar. Webinars, master classes typically take about between an hour, hour and a half. We don't want to hold you all night. We just want to get down to business, put the information in front of you, and then you make some decisions, as I stated. All right, y'all. Enjoy the rest of the evening. We'll tap back in tomorrow and be well, be blessed. Peace.